Hey guys, what's up? It's Stephanie. I have another video for you guys today, and today is going to be about being waitlisted, guys. I was waitlisted last year, so I know how it feels like. So I'll be talking about that experience and what should you do while you're waitlisted. I mean, should you keep applying to more schools? Should you add more to your application? I mean, what should you do? I had this question, so I'll be talking about that. So if you're interested, keep watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye. So you get your interview invite and you're extremely excited because you got an interview. I mean, come on, that's awesome, guys, because that you got selected out of thousands and thousands of applicants to get an interview because the school thought that you were worthy of getting into the program. So now the next step is the interview. So all you have to do is ace the interview because, I mean, you have the requirements, you have the personal statement, you have the application because for some reason they selected you for an interview, which is great. But now you just have to nail the interview. So you go to your interview and you see all the other applicants like myself and you start getting nervous. Maybe what if I'm not good enough, or I mean, look what they're wearing, not dressed properly. I mean, she has nicer shoes, etc. I should have done my hair that way, etc. So you go to your interview, and for me, I was so nervous. Every single time I got out of the room, I'm like, you know what? I don't think I did well in that interview. I should have said this. I should have said that. I can't believe I said that. I can't believe I did that, etc., 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 etc. So at the end of the day, you come out of your interview, and then my sister's like, "Oh, how'd it go, Stephanie? How was the interview?" And I just look at her and I start bawling, and she's like, "Are you kidding me, Steph?" So she's like, we flew all the way over here, and I drove you here, and I waited in the car for like 3 hours, and all you come out and you're like upset because you didn't do good. So I'm like bawling my eyes out, etc. Because I thought I did terrible. So I get home and I am stalking my inbox, my mail inbox, over and over again, just like checking it almost every 5 minutes to see if I get some type of notification from the program. And I interviewed at the beginning of March. This was in 2017, so it was last year. So I interviewed last year, and I am waiting and waiting and waiting, and finally, after what seemed like forever, 3 weeks later, I get an email. But before that, I was stalking the PA forum. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that website. I was stalking that site like crazy, and I was seeing how all these other students were getting accepted into the program, and I had not been notified yet. So it was just making me feel worse and worse. And I was telling my sister, you know what, and my mom, I don't think I got in this year. I think I'm gonna have to apply next year, because by then I had applied to 9 schools, and I think I had about 6 or 7 rejections. So I still had hope, but I didn't have much hope left. So so I was just really nervous. And finally I get that email, like I said, 3 weeks later, and it says, after extensive review of your application, we are pleased to inform you that you have been selected for the alternative list. Yes, the alternative list. And I saw this email and I was so excited. I was jumping up and high. I was so excited. I ran down. I told my mom. We hugged each other. I was so happy. I was texting my sister. I got selected for the alternative list, blah, blah, blah. So I was so excited because it gave me hope, it wasn't good enough to get accepted, but there's still hope there, and there's so many applicants that, because they've applied to so many cool schools, that they just decide to give their seat away, and this is how somebody from the alternative list gets selected. So, and then according to this school that I was waitlisted, they said that they don't have a list basically of alternatives. There's rumor, I don't know if it's true, that some schools do, when you are waitlisted, that they already have a list made, and that they will choose whoever's number 1, number 2, number 3, etc. from the list to be accepted into the program. So according to this school, though, they said that whenever a seat was available, what they did is that they looked at all the applications they had and how they interviewed from all the individuals that were waitlisted, and they looked at them again and basically would decide whether they were worthy to be accepted or not, etc. So, I had hope, guys, I had hope. Then now, I was even more crazy because I had read on PM Forum that they would either call you if you were accepted. So I was checking my phone like crazy. As you can tell, I was at work, and every single time I got a bathroom break, I would go and check my phone to see if I had a call or some type of email. And so I got notified at the end of March that I was waitlisted, and I didn't hear from them at all until it's about like at the end of July, where they had stated that, I was finally rejected from the program. So during that entire time, I was checking my email like crazy, and I was saying, maybe there may be a spot open, etc. But I was finally rejected. So I know how it feels to be waitlisted. If you are waitlisted, don't lose hope, because if a seat does open, or if several seats open, you can get in the program. In the program where I was accepted, I know a lot of individuals that were waitlisted that got accepted into the program. So it just depends. So if you're waitlisted, guys, don't lose motivation. So that's the topic of the video. That was basically my experience of being waitlisted. But everything happens for a reason, because that school was really expensive, and then on top of that, it was in another state. So I'm from Texas. I would have had to move all the way to basically the other side of the US, and I would have been far away from my family, far away from my husband, so that wouldn't have been good. And thankfully, I was accepted here in Texas, a lower tuition school, and it's near my family, with my family, and then near my closest family. So, everything happens for a reason, guys. So if you don't get in, everything happens for a reason. I can't say that enough. So I was waitlisted. What I did during that time, besides checking my email like a crazy girl, what I did is that I told myself, in the back of my mind, I told myself, if I don't get in this year, I'm going to have to apply again. And so I'm going to try to do as much as I can to add my application. During that time, I started traveling with my professor who I was doing research with. I approached her and I asked her if I could keep doing research with her for a second year in case I wasn't accepted to PA school. She agreed. I traveled with her. We went to several meetings, for example, SWAP, Southwestern Association of Parasitologists, where I got a grant. So I was able to get a grant for the research we did, and I was able to present my research at the program, at the meeting there. And not only there, I also presented at TMOM, so sorry guys. It's Texas Association Mosquito Control Association, TMCA, Texas Mosquito Control Association. I was able to present my research there also. So in the back of my mind, I tried to do as much as I could. So with these experiences, I listed them on my application, that I had a grant from a SWAP program, SWAP Association. I'm so sorry, guys. From the SWAP Association, and that I had also presented my presentation and my research at the Texas Mosquito Control Association, so TMCA. So I tried to do as much as I could. On top of that, by that time I knew I didn't have any patient care experience hours. So what I did is, this is when I started following around the medical assistants I work with, and I tried to learn as much as I could, just in case if I wasn't accepted this year, I would have to try to see if I can get some type of patient care experience. So what I'm trying to say, guys, is that if you are waitlisted, try to add as much as you can to your application. So for myself, I also tried to add more volunteer hours, volunteer as much as I could. I tried to add more to my application because, for me, for some reason I was waitlisted. It may have been my interview. It may have been the fact that I had 0 patient care experience hours. So ask yourself, you've been waitlisted. If you do get an, amazing, but if you don't, try to add as much as you can to your application, whether it's volunteer, patient care experience hours. Try to see where your application lacks. So whether If you're lacking in volunteer hours, go and get volunteer hours while you're waiting to see if you get accepted. Whether you're lacking in patient care, healthcare experience hours, go do that. If you want to do research, do research. So look at your application and see what is lacking. That way you can add more to it, and the second time that you apply, you have a stronger application. And then also, another thing that I did is that I asked myself, well, how did I interview? I know during some of this was a multiple mini interview. I know during when I was interviewing, I said something I shouldn't have said. I was really nervous. I didn't know what to expect because it was my first interview. So I also learned from that experience. I learned how to handle multiple mini interviews, what not to wear because I wore something that was not. Basically, I stood out. I'll just say that. So, ask yourself what went wrong. That way, when you come around the second time that you apply, you are a stronger candidate because, you've already been through this. So, all right, guys. So that was my experience. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed that. I still think about it and I laugh a little. Also, I know it's nerve-wracking checking your inbox over and over again, just to see if you got that acceptance letter. And it's nerve-wracking. I mean, you can't stop it. I did it. But during that time, also keep in the back of your head, have your plan A, which is of course getting accepted in PA school. Plan B, well, I don't get accepted into PA school, but my plan B is to, for example, my case, get more patient care experience hours, because that's where my application is lacking. So look at your application overall. Where is it lacking? Is it lacking patient care, healthcare, shadowing, etc.? Maybe one of my letter recommendations wasn't that strong enough. Maybe my personal statement wasn't that strong enough. So work on your application. That way, the second time that comes around, you are a stronger candidate. And the school that I got accepted into, they actually asked me the second time, have you applied here? And I'm like, yeah, I applied here. This is my second time applying. So then they ask you, well, what did you do differently than last year? Well, I gained more patient care experience hours, etc. So that way, if they do ask you this question, you know what you increase in. Because if you apply the second time and you have the same application, then it wasn't that much of a change. But if you apply again and you have more patient care experience hours and you did another research project and you have a new letter recommendation and a new personal statement, then it's like you're even better candidate. So always work on yourself to try to make yourself a better, greater candidate. All right, guys. Thanks for watching my videos. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like my videos in general, subscribe to them. I will try to make these videos on a weekly basis. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to comment below. Feedback, please, guys. If I talk too much, which I'm trying to decrease, if I talk too fast, then just let me know. All right, guys. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.